Welcome back, welcome back. We had to pay some quick bills real quick.
Shout out Jason Queries. Shed a lie, shed a lie, shed a lie.
Shed it live, shed it live.
Okay,
We
so
are here now.
I wanna.
Everybody else is old news.
So we got into the group chat, and somehow we're talking about we need to bring something to our show.
We needed a rebound from last week, goddamn.
A real big rebound.
What the fuck?
What
What the fuck?
So we started talking about it, and we came up with a nice idea of talking about religion. Let's turn this off. Oh, the music. Talk about religion. So we do have he's not a pastor. He's a youth. You wanna?
Close enough.
Evangelist.
It's another light skinned one. Okay, with a beard.
Yeah, I saw how y'all treated the last one.
Get close to the mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
get close to the mic.
All right, there we go.
Anyways, we got Mr. Lawami Richardson here. He is a. Go ahead, you tell him. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
I'm a youth evangelist. So I'm not a pastor. So I don't have a congregation that I preach to every week. But I get asked to go speak at conferences and youth revivals and things of that sort. So I'm heavily involved in church settings and work for a non-for-profit organization here in Orlando, Surface and Love Together. It's an acronym, it's SOUL. So we do a lot of community work. So that's kind of my title.
Okay, so if you know what evangelists try to recruit sinners to become Christians or come to the church or something. Yeah, so he might try to heavily recruit me tonight because Lord
Hey, so
knows.
like, do you be going door to door like the Jehovah's?
I used to early
You do?
on in my
Really?
experience. I actually went to a training school to learn how to share your faith and give surveys and give Bible studies and all
I
that.
thought you were going to say you went to a
Are
training
you
school
married?
to knock on doors.
Single, technically, or
I have a girlfriend, so I ain't gonna say
Technically,
Yeah,
he's
I ain't
single.
gonna say technically I'm not married.
But
see, I love that.
Yeah.
That
so-
nigga over there said
Claim your girl.
So I'm glad y'all interviewed him first because
he has a nice voice. Okay. So yeah, before we get into it, I want to play this quick little clip so that we can see where my energy is at. Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
You know, many church folk just ain't shit with your hypocritical, judgmental answers. Going off of something that somebody told you 200 years ago that you have never been able to prove. I had an event at my church. You know, many church folk just ain't shit with your hypocritical, judgmental answers. Going off of something that somebody told you 200 years ago that you have never been able to prove. I had an event at my church on yesterday, and those ladies that were not dancing had not been in anybody's church in a long time because of motherfuckers like you. And they were all guests, and they had a great time, and that's what it's all about. You know, since this is a holiday, I'm going to extend Fuck You Friday into the day. This is a Fuck You Monday. If you don't like what I do, stay the fuck off my page. But I'm going to be about being real and drawing people into ministry that's not usually going to go to church. So fuck you and fuck your foolish Christian ideas.
And the video he was referring to is the video he was referring to was, I mean, he had a little party at his church. He had a little party at his church.
That's disgusting.
So that's the type of energy I'm on. I'm on the cussing pastor energy. You know what I'm saying? Because I wholeheartedly feel what he's saying when he's saying y'all going off of something y'all ain't never experienced or seen. Y'all going off a book that's just really made up to me, to be honest. He about to start sweating. CJ, you okay?
Nah, I'm just listening.
That's my opinion, though. Disclaimer: if you follow me, don't block me fully. I mean, just kind of unfriend me for a couple of days or something. Just it's just my opinion. Anyways, I would definitely go to his church.
You would go
Like
to
if
church.
I was like wanting to get back into church, I would go to his church because I like realness. I don't like someone who's sitting up here being fake in my face, doing things behind closed doors. I know what he like. I know he cussed. He probably drank. He probably got some thoughts. He probably got all this stuff. But he's telling us who he is, and it's up to me if I want to. I don't want to say follow, but accept it.
Yeah,
accept it.
I'm down. I'm with you when you're right. Here's the thing. I only go to church for like weddings and funerals.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? See, everything in between, they kind of lost me. And I got a lot of questions. I know you ain't a pastor, but you kind of a pastor.
My man got the phone.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, he got questions? Oh,
I got questions.
I don't know what they talking about.
No, because like, you gotta understand, like, a lot of people be wanting to know. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but like a lot of people be wanting to know, like, where the money for the tithes really go?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, actually. So the way that tithing is a biblical principle, and the word tithe just means tenth, right? So whatever amount of income you make, a tithe, a tenth goes back to the church. So ideally, the way that system was set up was to give back to build the church and to have people have a place to worship and to take care of those who are in need, et cetera, et cetera. So what you're seeing with most churches that take these tithes, they don't use it the way that the Bible teaches it. Teaches people how to use the tithe. So
since you said that, I got another question.
Hold on. If they ain't spending the money right,
hold on.
You expect me to cash app you? They got cash app now in church.
Hold on. Oh, they got
cash app.
Hold on. I got a question. Hold on. Listen. So my next question is, right? What the number be that y'all be looking for each Sunday? Cause like I've been to several churches, and they'll pass the collection plate around. And obviously, it didn't reach the number that they was looking for. So they passed that bad thing. They pass it around. They pass it around a couple more times. They tell you to reach in your pocket. Tell you God loves you. You know what I'm saying? Tell you all this. They tell you a great story, which I really be feeling like is a lie. We was going down on the plane, and the Lord sent whoever to do the most, and the plane saved us. So we need y'all to do the most. Come out your pockets and stop playing. Stop playing. So what be the number that y'all be that the church be reaching for?
All right, so I hear your question, and I try to get to the roots of the problem, right? So what you're hearing, what you're ultimately discussing or describing is what most people call the prosperity gospel. These rich preachers who come will tell you what you want to hear, all for the purpose of fattening their pockets.
Right, because they be driving X5s.
Yeah. So again, every follower of Christ, every Christian, their foundation should be biblical. All right. So when you look at the Christ, Jesus, his example, he didn't have a place to stay. He didn't have, he came from the hood. He didn't have, so all of these people who are portraying something is not a reflection of the master that they claim to serve. You follow what I'm saying? So to answer your question, ideally the number that they're supposed to be looking for is just enough to cover the mortgage or rent, whatever of the facility that they're worshiping at, as well as the offerings to take care of the lights, electricity, the water. You know what I'm saying? A place for you to worship, and then whatever funds that are left over to help those who, in your congregation, to help those who are in need.
So it ain't 2.5 times the rent. Okay, cool.
Now I want to ask, you said you had to be biblical. What you were saying? You said
so
let me ask you this. Wasn't tithes based on animals and cattle, and that's what they had to tie back? So why is it based on money now?
So it was always based on money, right? So when you're talking about the animals, it was for the animal sacrifice, the offering that you would give. So when you look at the New Testament, there's actually a story where Christ came into the temple and he sees the merchants selling, something that was supposed to be free, because the sacrifice was supposed to be an offering to, a symbol of Christ's sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? The gift of salvation, which is free to all humanity. So there was taking advantage of that. So obviously that's when he flipped the tables and started whipping people and everything like that, to show that what you guys are doing is perverting something that was supposed to be meant for all people to receive, which is free, poor and rich, whoever, to come. So yeah, tithing is just a tenth of, so people give a tithe of their money, because usually that's
who made that bitch up. The Bible said that.
It's a biblical concept. Yeah.
What would it say? It says 10%. It says 10%.
Yeah. So the word tithe just comes from tithing. Is just 10.
Okay. So I got a question about the Bible.
Oh Lord, I just.
You went down. You getting nervous?
Yeah.
Nigga making nervous. I got a question. No, because my thing is, I'm not a believer in a lot of things. So you have to show me.
You believe in Beyonce.
Oh, because she shows me. She shows me. She's the savior. She shows me. Like, she was on the show. No, but seriously, like, the Bible, because there's so many of them, correct? Mm-hmm. And it's written in so many different ways. There's so many different gods. And my whole problem was when who weren't heavy into church, but when I got to college, like we had to be a part of the what is it called? Fellowship of Christian Athletes, FCA. So I kind of got saved like 5 times, and you know, right after the what's that movie came out? Christ of the something.
Passion of
Christ. So and then after a while, I'm like, this ain't real to me. I can't see this person. I can't touch this person. Everybody's like, wait. Oh, God did this for me, this for me. No, you did it for yourself because you worked hard and got what you want. You went to work or you master a skill. That's why you're great at what you do. That's my thing, because the Bible is so different for everybody in different religions. So who's to say which religion is correct? Because I've been told I'm going to hell. My soul ain't clean or good because I don't believe in what they believe in.
You don't believe in Christianity, or?
I believe in me. Put it that way.
Okay.
I believe in doing right by other people, respecting other people, giving back. It's the same thing Christians say they're doing, but I don't follow anybody, because all church is to me is somebody being a motivational speaker to you. You getting a word, they're just motivating you to think something or do something. I don't need that in my life. I don't need to be motivated. I'm self-motivated. You know what I'm saying? So you have the Bible out here saying one thing to one religion and then one thing to another religion over here. So how are we living in a world where there's so many different religions and scriptures to say who's going to hell, who's not going to hell, who's going to heaven, type of thing?
That's a very good question, loaded question.
It definitely was loaded. Sorry.
Yeah. And I'll try to simplify it as much as I can. So again, Christ says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Right. So the center and the focus of everything in the Scripture is Christ-centered. Right. So majority of the world, whether you believe he's the Son of God, believes that he was a great moral teacher. So there's a lot of principles that he taught, even in his and demonstrating in his life, that even the most atheist person can accept, right? Do good works, love your neighbors as yourself, et cetera, et cetera. I can't speak about your experience. I can speak about mine, right? We knew each other since high school. Before I went to Evans High School, I got kicked out of private school. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Trojan.
Give me some. There
you go. But anyway, I grew up in a religious home, but when, as I got older, I made my own choices. I lived my own life, and I lived it up to the fullest of my, to the best of my ability. It got to a point where things just kind of started falling apart, right? And I believe it was God's way of trying to get my attention. And so I went to one of those youth conferences, and I heard a sermon that really touched to the core of what I was struggling with. And I had a decision to make. Do I continue going down, living the life that I lived before, or do I, live up to what I know I'm supposed to be doing? And so I think a lot of people, if we can all agree that we know what is right, and yet we choose not to do it, right? And a lot of us violate our conscience because of that reason. So for me, my conscience was telling me, you got to make changes in your life. You got to get rid of the drinking. You got to get rid of the smoking, the cursing, all of this stuff that was ultimately causing a lot of hurt and pain. You know what I'm saying, in my life. And so when I look at the Bible, you got to understand that the word in of itself is inspired, and men comes and use that word to try to and twist it to try to fit their own ideology. So with anything, you always got to allow the word itself to, to ultimately interpret itself. Interpret itself. And so a lot of the hypocrisy that you guys talk about in the church, trust me, I'm the first one to vocalize it. Because what happens is that it's a negative reflection of what I have seen and what I experienced and what I've studied.
Yeah, a lot of people run from that.
Yeah, I embrace it. And if I don't have an answer, I ain't gonna sit here and try to, here's the answer to something. I don't know. So that's a very good question. I don't have the answers to all life's problems, right? But I know for me, Christianity works because it's not about what I am capable of doing, but the person that I'm submitting and putting my trust in that's doing the work for me. And that's the basis of what Christianity is, right? So, for me, it's, do what's right. Serve your community. Give your talents of speaking and inspiring other young people who struggle with anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, who went out and stole and smoked, and, who dealt with death, homies who passed away. What can I do to try to help them see that there's more to this life than what is offered, And so that's been my experience. And so at the end of the day, you can talk about, you can try to nitpick at all the different teachings in the Bible. You can't take away my experience, because the people who know me since I was young to now, seen the changes, seen that I'm authentic, see that I'm, that I'm honest and real. But my for the lack of better words, my religion is what guides me to kind of keep me in the path that keeps me straight.
So you need something. You need something to basically keep you straight. You just can't do it on your own.
We all do. We all need something.
You need yourself. You need self-motivation. That's what I'm saying. I'm self-motivated. I know not to kill people. I know not to go do this, this, and this because it's not right.
So you were taught that though.
Yeah. So let me ask you that question.
Like that's not just a subconscious thing that you just feel.
Somebody put that in your mind.
Somebody put that in your mind.
No, it's definitely subconscious, not to hurt people.
Nah, you were taught that.
You were taught not.
You were taught that because it's just like a racist child. You see what I'm saying? That child was taught that.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So anything that you feel right now, you were taught that in some type of way, shape, or form.
But you still can be taught something and then go a different way. You can go astray.
You can.
My thing is, I'm going to always be kind to people. I'm always going to try to help people.
Because you were taught that. If you weren't taught...
Because you're taught something, that means you're going to live by it. Like people who read the Bible, they're taught to do this, this, and this, but they still do something else. Because they're not self-motivated enough to keep themselves aligned to their religion. But I'm aligned to myself.
That don't go away from the fact that you were taught that.
Okay, I can see that.
All right, cool.
So I actually had this conversation, no lie, like no more than a week ago. And the question of morality came up. So I asked, who determines morality? You know, the answer was culture, society, your upbringing. But all those things are taught, right? So from a biblical perspective, the person who distinguishes what's good and what's bad is God, right? So he determines what's good. He's the one who determined thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not do all those things. So our conscience is the morality aspect of it. It is not determined by culture because culture is constantly changing. Society is constantly changing. So there has to be this constant principle of morality that I asked, like, you know, as they asked you, you know, who told you not to kill? And how do you know that that's right or that's wrong, right? And so that's, you know, you find those principles in God's law where it's like these commandments are not commands. I'm forcing you to do it, but they're actually a safeguard to try to keep, hey, you know, at the end of the day, my life will be better if I don't kill, if I don't steal, if I don't lie against my homie, when I lived out those principles, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is I can't do it on myself because everything in me, when somebody snaps on me, guess what I want to do? I want to wring his neck, you know what I'm saying? So I got to ask for
So God stops you from doing that?
I had to ask for a power greater than myself because if
so God comes into your body and stops you from snapping on people. At that same moment, if you over there in Orlando and he over there in Hawaii and he mad,
which I've been to by the way, beautiful island.
Hey, very beautiful. Don't try to do that. I've been there too. I travel, okay. But anyway, so two sides of the world and y'all mad at the same thing on time. So God comes to both of y'all and puts the higher power on y'all to stop y'all from doing something. No, it's mentally. I know I'm strong. Y'all need something to tell you guys that you're not strong enough. I need God to make me strong enough to do this. No, you don't. It's called self-motivation. You are strong enough to do whatever you want to do in life. But y'all have somebody over your head saying, this is who I need. This, for my opinion, this is who I need to make me better. No.
Why not?
Why do you need something fictitious?
What I'm saying, if that's the way to light, why not?
Who says that?
I'm just saying.
How do we know it's the way to light?
For that person, I'm saying.
Okay, for that person. But
why
what if
not?
There's no heaven? Like, what if there's no heaven or hell? Like, I don't believe in that. So it's like, people say, you're going to hell because you don't. Like, for me, that's messed up because my soul is very clean to me. So I'm going to always make sure everybody okay around me.
I say pure. So let me ask you. Let me ask you, right?
No, I had a question too, bro.
You got one? Go ahead. Because mine is deep.
Mine is kind of, I want to see how, like, so you follow the God rules, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
So do you think gay people are going to hell?
You know, that's again a very
touchy
loaded question. No, that's
not. It's straightforward.
No, it's not a loaded question. There is a standard in which God has set for marriage to be.
Okay.
Right. So for me to say, oh, this person is going to hell, I don't have a heaven or hell to send anybody to.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that was a safe answer.
No, it was reality.
Safe,
you know,
it was a safe answer.
But at the end of because at the end of the day, if this is all they know, they can only be judged on what they know, right? And so if they know something outside and they're convicted about it and they realize, hey, you know, I got to make a change, and they choose to constantly violate their conscience, because ultimately the conscience is a voice of God speaking to you at that moment, right? Yeah. We all have at one point, my conscience don't feel right. You have to ask yourself, okay, what is this voice and what is this conscience? And so, so there is a way in which God has set out a plan for humanity to live out to. And when man chooses not to comply to those principles,
they get punished.
Not punished. We suffer the consequences of our choices.
That's punishment.
Who suffers?
No, just we are.
Or the world?
Whoever the followers,
the people that's around us, and ultimately society, the culture, and the world that we live in.
So, all right. So you're saying,
so for instance, if I decided to say, you know, what I'm saying, I don't like you, man, you know, and I don't say nothing, and I end up murdering you, not only affects you, right, but affects your family, affects society, affects me. So I had to then suffer with the consequences of my choice, even though my conscience, even though...
Yes, that's murdering, but we talking about sexuality.
Right.
Do you think gays are going to hell?
I just... My simple question is this. Who sets the standard of morality to sexuality? Who sets the standard?
Your God in your Bible. That's what I'm saying.
So my worldview and the way that I live my life is...
It's cool if you say,
No, I'm telling you, that's the way that I have lived my life according to the word, the standard.
Right. And let me ask you one more.
Yeah.
Is your God, Jesus Christ, is he the only way to salvation? So we don't like the Muslims, we don't like the Buddhists, we don't like nobody else with another religion.
I have a lot of Buddhist friends, Muslim friends. So
that was getting to my
question. Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, so we agree with what we agree on. We disagree with what we disagree on.
You don't think it's division, like y'all just dividing stuff?
But I mean, we can ultimately say, yeah, religion divides.
Yeah.
But as a society, there's a lot of other things that divide us as well.
True.
Right?
True.
Hey, you're Democrat, you're Republican, division. Yeah. Or you white, you're black, division. Right? There's labels and all of these things that we use. And it's easy to kind of just, it's religion's fault. Now, at the end of the day, there is a false religion and there's a true religion. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe if people lived up to the true religion of what God has asked people to live, that we wouldn't see the majority of the problems that we're seeing now. So when it comes to answer the question, again, Jesus made a claim, and there's a crazy claim. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. But I am the way.
All right.
So that statement in of itself, if I am a searcher of truth or knowledge, I have to then make sure to see if this man is either a nutcase or he actually is who he says he is. All right, so and a lot of people don't care to take time to see, all right, did his life, do the research and look it up to see if he is who he is.
One more last question.
Let me ask you this.
One more last question.
Let me ask you this. You know what I'm saying? Because if heaven was hell and vice versa.
All right, Pastor Troy.
If I told you to go to hell, would you say I cursed you? You know what I'm saying? Real shit though. Like, okay, so when it comes to different religions, because there's a lot of religions out there.
Right.
Christianity is worldly known. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Christianity really, when it comes to the world, I think in 2015 there was a survey that said 50% of all people that walk this earth describe themselves as Christian. 78% of all people in the U.S. would describe themselves as Christian. Jesus wasn't Christian. Right?
He wasn't.
Well,
what was he?
What is
Jewish?
Okay. I thought Jesus was black though.
Middle East.
Black, white, whatever.
He was Jewish.
So
all right, let me ask you this. Another
Jewish.
question real quick.
Jewish.
So you say you follow the history of Jesus, right?
Yeah,
the Christianity.
Yeah.
But it's
when we
follow
I didn't want to interrupt you. When we use the word Christian, it just means it's a follower of Christ.
Okay.
All right.
But the thing is, it's several other gods who has the same story as Jesus. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between the Horus story and the Jesus story?
Well,
and the Krishna story.
One is actually a fable. The other is actually
it can't be. You can't have one and another.
So here's the thing.
So you believe one walked on water, but you don't believe the other story.
Oh no. So this is the dividing factor. You ready for it?
I got to hear it.
Faith. Because just as much as let's say you meet an atheist and a hardcore Christian, somebody says, "Hey, God created the world in 6 literal days," and so forth, and the atheist says, "Well, I believe it was a Big Bang."
Yeah.
The dividing factor. There's going to be enough evidence here to prove to put your faith in, and there's going to be a lot of other things that you can't explain. Same thing on this side.
So faith is the
faith is going to be the dividing factor.
Okay.
It's always going to be the dividing factor for anything that we live as human beings, as creatures here in society, in this world. You asked a question, but it kind of slipped my mind. But because yes, talking about the history of Christ. History has already proven that it's not fictitious. It's actually true.
Well,
It can't be, because this is the thing. All those same stories are the same as Christ. All the like I can name probably 9
Right.
gods the same as Christ, and then it's other artifacts that's here before Christ that we can find, but we cannot find no like history of Christ was really walked this earth.
Actually, that's not true. History has already proven that.
What artifact?
Where?
I mean,
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
atheist.
No,
or
no, no,
nothing,
no, I know.
But it's just that I know how Christianity works. Y'all force y'all religion on people, and then sometimes y'all throw other people religion under the bus.
Like it's not good enough.
So
Yeah.
the way that we're supposed to approach anything, right? I can't never, you're gonna catch bees with honey, right, and not vinegar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That
Shout out to my, so for me, I'm never going to say, hey, I'm going to, that ain't gonna be honey. See, God's word is as sweet as this honey. So can I get a witness in this place? But no,
a tat.
you'll be amazed that there's all of the major religions,
Yeah.
and Christianity has a lot of things in common.
a lot.
A lot of things in common.
Yeah.
And so, in the book of Isaiah, it says, come, let us reason together, right?
Yeah.
So we got to come reason. We got to put evidences. And then based on all the evidence that is before us, right?
Yeah.
Then we put our faith in the evidence that is demonstrated. So for me, I'm not walking blindly. One thing that has made the Bible unique, as to opposed to all the major other religions that I have studied out myself, is prophecy. I've seen that the Word of God is inspired, not because it says it, because history has confirmed a lot of the things that the Bible says. And you can read Daniel chapter 2, you can read Daniel 7, all of the history of the world and how it was predicted from 2,000 years ago and how it came to flourish now. And so, anyway, so that's we have to find commonality with all the major religions, but at the same time, we have to take all of our differences and see, okay, why are we where we're at? And then we have to make a decision based on the evidence that's placed before us. And so I'm not going to just discredit something because I feel it's not true. Yeah, like I want to. Hey, why do you believe what you believe? Let's put everything together and let's weigh the evidence. And based on the evidence that's there, then you make a smart, intelligent decision, and you put your faith in that evidence and you move forward.
Okay.
All right, so my last question, my
Your
last
first
question,
My first to last.
my last question, and it's a real question because it's like a lot of people has this question, but it's like a lot of people like really, really, really be scared to ask this kind of question.
I'm scared.
Why do you think, or what would be your response to people saying that, okay, well, why do God let bad things happen?
So, it's a very deep theological question.
It really is.
One of the people that I follow, Ravi Zacharias, he actually answers this question phenomenal. And I by no way am I a philosopher, but this is as simple as I can make it. We have a tendency to blame all evil on God, right? But God is defined as love. So if we're going to equate, evil to God, which he's defined as love, then who do we cast the good to? Who do we say, well, all the good that's in the world, who do we give credit? Who do we give that credit to? So we have to understand that there's a conflict. And again, it's a scripture that outlines this, perfectly. The book of Isaiah talks about this conflict, and Revelation chapter 12 talks about this conflict between good and evil. So at times we have this debate, and we're like, well, if God is good, why did he let this thing happen?
Right.
So my question is like, well, when something good happens, does he get the same credit? Because if God, and the question in of itself really stems to, if God is this big God, then nothing bad should happen. And then we eliminate the aspect that there is a evil force that is trying to eradicate good, which was God's very purpose in this world. When he created out of love. He created it in a form where it was supposed to be heaven on earth, right? But because of an angel decided to go away from God's original plan, evil entered into this world and it has progressed. And so when I see bad things happen, it's easy to,
the devil.
yeah, because at the end of the day, we can't say, well, God is a cause of all of this evil, but then when something good happens, we don't give him the same credit. It has, one has to go to one, the other has to go to the other.
Oh, I'll get you.
Does that make sense?
I understand.
You may not agree, but I'm just hopefully I articulated the point
I understand.
clearly.
It's just
No, it made sense.
it's just
Okay. So my thing is, so have you searched out to look at other religions, or were it was just Christianity the only thing you looked at? Because a lot of people not a lot of people, because most people go right into Christianity. Like, do you go out and seek other religions to see if that fits who you are, or you just so headstrong on being a Christian or following that? Whatever.
Yeah, I've taught world religions class as a chaplain at an academy.
What's that?
World religion. So all the world religions.
Oh, world religions.
World
Okay,
religions.
okay.
What other religion you know?
I mean, not as good as Christianity, but I've taught, the teachings of the Muslim, of Buddhism,
Because
even atheism is a religion now. So all of those things, right, I have studied out, and I look at the evidence, and based on the evidence, the inconsistencies, what's consistent, what's inconsistent.
Christianity ain't got no inconsistencies.
I don't know what inconsistencies you have seen.
No, it's a lot. He knows a lot. He knows it's a lot.
But again, this is only a 2-hour show, so I mean, we can.
Supposed to be one. It's supposed to be one, but
Y'all got me hitting. No.
We're only 46 minutes. We got time.
We was getting busy.
No, but the same inconsistencies that many people say that you can find in Christianity, you can find in say in the Muslim faith and the Jewish faith, et cetera, right? And so, for me, the evidence that has placed before me, it wasn't just Christianity. Of course, I grew up in a Christian home, so there's a base there.
Know.
But when I decided to make a decision as to which faith I'm going to follow, I listened to my Muslim brothers. I listened to my Buddhist friends. I listened to my Jewish friends as well.
No, but you were already a Christian before you said when you listened to them. You weren't just like out here like, okay, I'm going out here to search different religions. You were already a Christian when you were talking to your Muslim friends. You weren't going to convert to anything else.
I think.
No, but I was still searching. I was still seeking. I wanted to know if what I grew up in is real, then obviously I need to know.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. So,
and you found out it was.
And the way, for me, it is undoubtedly yes. For me. And I can show you the evidences of my faith and show you, hey, this is the reason why I could put my faith.
But when somebody else show you the evidence of their faith, what could you say about it?
Oh,
you will look at it.
I would look. No, I'll look at it. But at some point we have to come, because truth and error can't come together, right?
That's the thing. You keep saying this is where I be catching you at. You say truth and error, so you're saying yours is truth and theirs is error.
No. I'm saying we're presenting our truth. So what's going to be? So the basis, right, is always going to be history, Bible, their books. Is everything that they believe?
History books teach us. I ain't learning about this in history. It's their Bible is y'all history.
It says
their
Bible.
History confirms what the Bible already spoke
what
about.
What history?
You look at the Reformation age. You look at the the
what
movement of the Dark Ages,
Who wrote
1500s, 1600s. This is history. I'm not talking about biblical.
A white
I'm just
man.
saying history.
The one who enslaved us. Like, what are you talking about?
So we don't believe the white man.
No. I'm saying no. I'm saying the white man wrote that. We're sitting.
Who wrote the Bible?
The Bible tells us inspired men wrote the Bible.
Wasn't it the Nasir or
Council
of
over
Nasir?
40 authors over the span of 1,500 years that wrote it, inspired. So
I
over
thought it was
time
the
1,500 years. They made Jesus that long, because it was like Jesus' life. That Bible that was.
Yeah. So
yes, and you believe that?
I'm
just saying. I mean, that's your religion.
No. Like I said, it's cool to ask questions.
Us black people were forced to be religious, to be Christians, because it's all the white their masters taught them. So,
but the same Bible that was used to enslave was actually the same Bible that they used to free.
Who's free from that Bible?
Who free?
They took our spirituality and gave us Christian. What was spirituality?
They had their own African.
We had our own spiritual system. That's the same thing that it's some of it is still in the Bible, but they took it away and gave us Christ.
That's all
Freedom?
I'm saying. I mean, our masters gave us that. Y'all still falling behind y'all masters. That's all I'm saying.
So you think Christianity is?
It was taught to us from
It wasn't. It was forced. It was forced on us.
Exactly.
It was.
Think about it. They came from their own songs, traditions, things like that.
But that's just here though. There's Christianity, like I said, is
it huge
around the world?
Is it huge in Africa?
Yeah, because they went around the
the
world.
world.
There's a lot of
it takes up
Christians
50%.
I'm at the true African place, not the true African.
Not no
places.
spirituality
like
African place like that.
Like Wakanda.
I think over there, not Wakanda, but I think like Africa, what do y'all think the biggest religion over there is?
They done stripped everything. They didn't put on Christ on everybody, bruh.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I think the religion was to force us to, get away from that spiritual shit.
They say God created heaven and earth. How you know? You seen this?
Well, the same argument you can make with scientists says that everything came from a Big Bang.
I don't believe that. I mean, I don't know how we got here. I'm not.
It's the same
I'm
thing
not
as
gonna believe
saying,
that.
what, you believe in Adam or Adams? Which one?
Oh, I like what you did. That was
Yeah, you know how I'm.
I believe-
I'm not gonna I don't want to get too deep because we're gonna be like 3 hours. Like, damn, this kid want to really go in now. I'm just, I just want to.
But
I'm not gonna go too deep.
These conversations,
We
I
got
love them.
dinosaur
You know what I'm
bones,
saying?
though.
And if
Same
I don't
thing.
have an answer, you know, it's not that. Oh, well, you don't have the answers. Look, I stumped. No. Wait, that's a very good question. Let me find it out and just move forward. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what it is.
For me, I have these conversations all the time. I don't allow my Christian experience, my religion, to
Be altered. For
to stop me from kicking it with you and hang. Like I have a lot of friends who don't believe what I believe, but we close. And when we have these discussions, we have these discussions.
I tell people this
always
all the
good to have
time.
them.
And that's a great point that you just made. Like when you was just talking about how you know people that believe in different things. Mm-hmm. You're still friends with or cool with people that believe in different things. How do you find the balance in that?
The balance
Respect.
is, you know, we have to love, right? And so love isn't going to be forcing, hey, man, this is what I believe. If you don't believe it, you know, bye. You know, that's not love.
But that's how
not
a lot of people are though.
Exactly.
But
they show me all the time.
But again, we can have this conversation. We can have this intense conversation. We can get heat, man, brother. But at the end of the day, is all like I don't have no ill will towards anybody because my call is not to try to convert people into anything. Okay. I want my life to be an example more than anything else.
I can live this life without believing in that, right? Because I live a great life and motivate people all the time.
I mean, you're about right. I say great.
I do.
I'm just saying, though.
Hey,
I'm just
but
saying,
the
though.
thing,
It's the same thing, but you just follow
is-
behind something. It's fine. Yeah. Say what?
I just think religion, be sometimes overboard. Like I don't believe in religion, but I believe in God. If you,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't follow no Christian, but I still believe in a higher power. But yeah, we can't take all this time, too much time, so we're gonna have to type of wrap it up. AB.
Yeah, thank you so much, Loan, for coming in.
No, y'all.
Hopefully I converted you over to just being self-motivated religion. Just be self-motivated, people. Do your own thing. You don't need anyone telling you or hanging on your head saying, you can't do this. You can't. Okay. Do you have sex?
Of course. Yes.
I have refrained myself
Are you
from having
abstinent?
yes, until I'm married.
So you're born again.
What? That's
No shit.
So you really into Christianity, boy?
He wrote
Let me ask, why you not having sex for?
Fuck.
In my experience, I was sexually active, and I saw
we
that.
know high school it is really.
Yo,
Just playing.
people are watching this.
Okay.
Hey, but I've
Little
changed.
tiny
No,
bit.
but I just my life experience with all of the sexual activity that I had in the past, I saw a lot of the pain, the heartache that I experienced. You know what I'm saying? You ultimately give yourself to somebody, and if that part of you is with that person. So, when
attached.
of course, that was been my experience. So for me, when I made the necessary changes in my life, I realized that abstinence was going to be the best approach for me.
Is that shit hard, bro?
Oh, yeah.
Especially
Ain't supposed to be.
How long you been abstinent?
8 years now.
8 years.
You been abstinent 8 years, bro?
8 years, 2010. Now, let me, I'm not going to say anything, but like, oh, I've been clean, perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had my sexual battles throughout those, you know what I'm saying, early on, but yeah.
He be touching himself.
You think it's
No, but
in your honest opinion, like, do you think
You found salvation from that?
not even that, but like when it comes to women, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it harder to be fully engaged with a woman? Like, is it harder to?
Actually, it's easier because what happens once you remove, because at the end of the day, if we're honest, at least I can't talk for y'all, I can talk for me. My motivation to talk to women was always, what's the end goal?
Right.
I'm going to get the draws at the end of the day.
8 years, bro?
Yeah.
That's
But
crazy.
when you remove that, then all of a sudden you're trying to see, is this person a mate where I can spend the rest of my life with? What can she do for me mentally? You know what I'm saying? Emotionally, is she going to be there? Because I tell people this all the time. Like, if you remove sex out of the relationship, would that relationship stand?
Yeah, it would.
So you be masturbating.
Nah,
He can't masturbate.
Hey, Leah,
I try.
If you masturbate,
Like I said, I'm not gonna say that it wasn't a battle or a struggle.
if you masturbate, then you're not celibate.
Yeah,
Really? Is that?
because
It's the same
about
thing.
having pure
The release?
thoughts and
Yeah.
and
It's about
pure.
not
First time I ever
releasing.
said you're gonna have octuplets.
Was it
So you are single, huh?
They say you toss a salad. You eating?
He ain't doing nothing sexual.
I'm a vegetarian. That's the only side that I eat.
Wow, bro, 8 years.
Oh hell no, 8 years.
You better go to heaven.
Right, Ann,
Cause god damn, I ain't waiting 8 days, boy. Jesus got for me. Jesus, you got me. 8 years for what?
Nah.
For this?
But thank you so much, Local, coming
nah,
in. We
thank you for
appreciate
having me,
it.
for
You
real.
know, hopefully,
Heaven ain't that cool.
Hopefully, you know, I appreciate you coming in. True Trojans. He's a real gentleman.
I definitely appreciate you coming in, sharing your views
We
and
needed
everything.
that for last week, definitely too.
Hey,
8
no,
years,
like I
sure.
said, man. Hey, you know, I was happy when she asked the request. I was like, Lord, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but
We ain't go too bad though. We ain't go too
no,
bad.
I know y'all could have went.
They wanted
in.
to pass the pastor, so they were gonna.
I ain't gonna lie.
Pass the pastor.
I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to pass, but I had questions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he
But yeah, thank you
You
so
just-
much. And
No, thank y'all.
shout
Hey,
out to you. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, I gotta give my little shout out. But
Information,
hey,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Facebook,
Jesus.
Instagram, you can check out our website, Salt Outreach Inc. We're doing a lot of great community work here in Orlando. We'd love for you to be a
Been
part of it.
bamboozled.
And so, yeah, Salt Outreach Inc. Check it out. Facebook, Instagram, and our website. But yeah, man, hey, I've seen how the show has blossomed and continue, you know what I'm saying, doing what y'all doing, man. Really appreciate the grind, especially you. You know what I'm saying? You about to be a star.
I've been a star.
I subscribe, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Subscribe to my YouTube page.
All 7 follow. Hey, I'm one of the 7. You know what I mean?
On the 44.
shit.
He's celibate.
Yeah.
He's celibate.
I don't know what that is. I'm trying to go get with Mr. Honeybee.
The other light skin.
But he ain't gonna know how to use that for 8 years.
Nah, but thank y'all so much for watching.